Evening. I would like to call to order the City Council meeting for the City of Wheat Ridge, Colorado for October 10th, 2022. If you would please stand as you are able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would the clerk please call the roll of the members?
Judy Hutchinson.
Present.
Corey Stites.
Here.
Amanda Weaver.
Here.
Janice Hoppy.
Present.
Rachel Hulteen.
Present.
Scott Ohm.
Here.
Leah Dozeman.
Here.
Val Nosler-Beck.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, all 8 members of council are either present or virtually attending, and we have a quorum.
Thank you. We have no minutes to look at in our package. Without objection, we'll let the agenda stay as presented, so ordered. And we don't have any proclamations tonight. It's a little unusual. We've got some good ones coming up in the months ahead. So we are now at our public's right to speak. Members of the public may come and speak at this time on any item that is not on the agenda. If you would like to speak, you can come to the podium now. I don't have anyone who's signed up to speak. Is there anyone here in the hall who would like to speak? You may do so now. And I will ask the clerk if there's anyone online. If you're online, if you'd like to raise your hand, we will bring you into the meeting and you may speak now.
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I don't see anyone stepping forward, so we will go to our next agenda item, which is, this will be agenda item number 1. Councilor Nosler-Beck, would you please introduce this item?
Thanks, Mayor. Council Bill number 18-2022, an ordinance amending sections 2-89 and 11-565 of the Wheat Ridge Code of Laws to provide an administrative subpoena process for hotel licensing. At issue, this council bill amends the Wheat Ridge Code of Laws to authorize the issuance of administrative subpoenas for records related to hotel licensing.
Thank you. This is an ordinance on first reading to set the date, time, and location for a public hearing. May I have a motion on this item, Councilor Nosler-Beck?
I move to approve Council Bill number 18-2022, an ordinance amending sections 2-89 and 11-565 of the Wheat Ridge Code of Laws to provide an administrative subpoena process for hotel licensing on first reading. Order it published. Public hearing set for Monday, November 14th, 2022 at 7 p.m. as a virtual meeting and in City Council chambers, if allowed to meet in person on that date per COVID-19 restrictions, and that it take 15 days after final publication.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Hoppy. Would the clerk please poll the council?
Council members, please cast your votes again. Mr. Mayor, the motion has passed unanimously.
Thank you. We will go to agenda item number 2. Councilor Hoppy, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council Bill number 19-2022, an ordinance amending Article 4 of Chapter 26 of the Wheat Ridge Code of Laws concerning requirements for final subdivision plats and in connection therewith addressing race and religion-based covenants on title. At issue, this ordinance amends the city's land use code to require that a plat note be affixed on re-subdivisions of property, advising that race and religion-based covenants on real property are illegal and unenforceable.
Thank you. This is an ordinance on first reading to set the date, time, and location for a public hearing. May I have a motion on this, Councilperson Hoppy?
I move to approve Council Bill number 19-2022, an ordinance amending Article 4 of Chapter 26 of the Wheat Ridge Code of Laws concerning requirements for final subdivision plats and in connection therewith addressing race and religion-based covenants on title. On first reading, order it published. Public hearing set for Monday, December 12th, 2022 at 7 p.m. as a virtual meeting and in council chambers if allowed to meet in person on that date per COVID-19 restrictions.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Stites. Would the clerk please poll the council?
Mr. Mayor, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We will move to agenda item number 3. Councilor Hulteen, Mayor Pro Tem Hulteen, would you please introduce this item?
Yes, give me just one moment. I'd like to introduce a motion to cancel the November 7th, 2022 study session of the Wheat Ridge City Council. At issue, the study session of November 7th, 2022 is the night before the 2022 general election. The council chambers in City Hall will be utilized by Jefferson County as a polling location. Election equipment will be set up in council chambers the weekend before the election. Due to election integrity and security concerns, the council chambers will not be available for the November 7th study session.
Thank you. This will be a motion of the council. Mr. Goff, do we have any further presentation from staff on this item?
Nothing from me. The city clerk may have something to add. I'm not sure.
No, thank you.
Okay. I will invite the public to speak on this agenda item number 3. I have no one signed up to speak. If you're here at City Hall, you may speak now on this item. And if you are online, you may raise your hand and we will bring you into the meeting.
No one, Mr.
And
Mayor.
we have no one stepping forward to speak, so are there any questions from council before we go to a motion? Mayor Pro Tem Hulteen, may I have a motion on this item?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I move to cancel the November 7th, 2022 study session of the Wheat Ridge City Council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Ohm. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
Mr. Mayor, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We will go to agenda item number 4. Councilor Weaver, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is resolution number 39-2022, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2022 general fund budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $39,931, the numbers are challenging sometimes. $39,931 for the purpose of purchasing and installing 3 HVAC units at the Anderson Building. I'm not going to tell you any more about that.
Okay, thank you very much. This will be a resolution of the council. Mr. Goff, do we have a further staff presentation on this item?
We have 2 folks here this evening who could probably both speak to it, but Maria, our new Public Works Director, has taken over the facilities requirements or function of the city, and Karen O'Donnell used to have that, but Karen is very happy with that fact, correct? So we're here for any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you. Before we go to questions from council, we will open this up to the public. I have to speak on this issue. I have no one signed up to speak, but if you are here in City Hall or online and would like to speak, and I see no one raising their hands, so I will go to questions from council. Councilor Hoppy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 quick questions. So did we hire a facilities manager?
We did. We have a facilities manager as a new position at the city. We have gone through 2 already. The position is vacant right now, but we're going to be starting a recruitment for that position again soon.
Great. And then the supplemental budget amount, so the $39,931 plus what we already had, the $35 in the general fund, that's the total amount we need to complete the project?
Yes.
But then I saw, so I guess I'm a little bit confused because I saw that the recommended boiler system, which I did some research and it's a good system. Research hasn't asked my husband, who's an HVAC contractor. But it says that it's $60,000, but when you look at the little breakdown under financial impact, the boiler says $39,604. So can can we just have a little bit of explanation? Did we go with a different product? Did we get a pencil sharpened? How did that go?
I can speak to that, yes. Yes, when we did the evaluation in October of 2021, that was a rough order of magnitude to replace the boiler and a recommended product. That is the product that we're getting. The price, though, that we got was less expensive than the $60,000 estimate, so it came in about 40.
And then I also saw that there were some things that some suggestions where when we, once we replace the boiler, then we'll have more evidence to perhaps maybe have to make some more moves further. Would that be something that would just be in next year's budget, or would that be something that we'd see another supplemental budget request for?
Most likely, that'd be a future project once we evaluate that. We'd like to get the systems in, evaluate the efficiency and how it's affecting the space before we make recommendations for further changes or projects.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from council? Thank you. Councilor Weaver, may I have a motion on this item?
You may. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve Resolution Number 39, 2022, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2022 general fund budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $39,931 for the purpose of purchasing and installing 3 HVAC units at the Anderson Building.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Stites. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council? Thank you. We will go to agenda item number 5. Councilor Dozeman, would you please introduce this item?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion to award contract and approve subsequent payments of $259,210 to Western States Reclamation for the Clear Creek Trail Maintenance Replacement Project. At issue, in February of this year, the city received grant funds through the Jefferson County Open Space Trails Partnership Program for Clear Creek Trail improvements. The full project includes upgrading sections of trail from asphalt to concrete, repairs and improvements at the Otis Street Trailhead and trail connection, wayfinding signage, and other safety improvements. The motion is specifically to award the contract to Western States Reclamation for the portion of the project that will upgrade sections of trail from asphalt to concrete. There were 7 submissions associated with the invitation to bid. Western States Reclamation was the lowest bidder at $259,210.
Thank you. This will be the award of a bid by motion by the council. Mr. Goff, do we have further staff presentation on this item?
Karen, you have anything to add?
I would just say the issue statement was pretty clear, but just as a reminder, those 3 sections that are still asphalt are just between west of Prospect Park and Westbridge at the Otis Street Trailhead, which we get a lot of feedback from residents on, of course, and near the westbound I-70 bridge. And that's really about it. I'm happy to answer any question.
Okay, thank you. Before we go to questions from council, I will open this up to questions or comments from the public. I have no one signed up to speak on this, but if you're here and would like to speak, you may do so now, or you may raise your hand online.
No one, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we don't see anyone coming forward, so I'll go for questions from council. Councilor Ohm.
Thank you, Mayor. One is, I thought we did hire a consultant for the Clear Creek Trail, correct? To evaluate the Clear Creek Trail?
Oh, we have an open space management plan underway currently, yes.
I'm just curious, is this kind of being coordinated with them as far as the?
This is something that we had planned before they came on board. So I would say while we're obtaining feedback from residents to inform the open space management plan, and some of this feedback, I'm sure, is what is being received, it's not necessarily happening in conjunction.
Okay. Is it going to be a standard, like where the newer concrete is it going to be more of a standard width, as opposed to like if it's a substandard width, we're just replacing asphalt concrete, or is it going to be more of that standard width?
I have all of
The
that
wider.
information and I can share that with you, but I don't want to misspeak. So I don't want to say that off the top of my head.
Okay.
That's all right.
And then once this is awarded, as far as what is the notification, or how do you notify the pedestrian cyclists that, I assume it's going to be closed off? on the Clear Creek for certain periods of time and detouring and rerouting?
I am not 100% sure. We've certainly done it in the past, and our staff, I would just have to circle back with Mark Root, who's our project manager within the Parks, Forestry, and Open Space Division, and just see how that's been done in the past. I don't actually know off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Dozeman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in the packet, it talks about the areas are Arvada owned, but City of Wheat Ridge maintained, and that 2 of the 3 sections that are still asphalt will be converted to concrete. Is Arvada providing any kind of funds to help with this project, and when would the other area be converted, if at all?
Can you clarify what other area you're referring to? I'm sorry, I didn't understand that part.
Sorry, so it says 3 sections remain as asphalt between just west of Prospect Park and the West Bridge at the Otis Street Trailhead and near the westbound I-70 bridge. The latter 2 locations are City of Arvada owned, but City of Wheat Ridge maintained. This project would convert the first 2 sections listed to concrete. The last section involved is in CDOT right-of-way and would not be addressed within the scope of this project. Will that ever be?
We would have to work with CDOT, so we do not have a timeline for that. Thank you. The other question that you had regarding the City of Arvada, we did meet with staff from the City of Arvada and attempted to collaborate on this project. They didn't have any funds that they could put towards the project, but did provide support for our grant application.
Okay, thank you.
And just to add to that a little bit, I think even before Karen came to the city, we had met with Arvada on this. It's a very unique location, even though it's in Arvada. It's very isolated from Arvada, and we actually even talked about potentially annexing it into Wheat Ridge, but we haven't gone down that route at this point either. So yeah, it's a weird situation that it's in the city of Arvada, but it's so isolated from the city that it's really Wheat Ridge's trail. So we've always, as long as I've known, have maintained this portion of the trail.
What would it take to annex that?
I think it just popped into my head why we didn't do that. I think this area is in a Arvada urban renewal area, and if you amend an urban renewal plan, it requires you to meet the requirements of House Bill 1348 that was passed several years ago. So I think that's, Arvada doesn't want to go down that path right now.
Any further questions before we go to a motion? Okay, seeing none. Councilor Dozeman, may I have a motion on this item?
I move to approve the contract and subsequent payments of $259,210 to Western States Reclamation for the Clear Creek Trail Maintenance Replacement Project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Weaver. Is there any discussion on the? I'm sorry, Hutchinson. Thank you very much. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
Mr. Mayor, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We'll come to agenda item number 6. Councilor Hutchinson, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mayor. Motion approving the appointment of an administrative hearing officer for a hearing for the protest of the certification of insufficiency for the referendum petition for ordinance 1744. At issue, appointment of Judge Paul Basso as a presiding administrative hearing officer for the protest hearing for the certification of insufficiency for the referendum petition for ordinance 1744.
Thank you. This will be a motion of the council. Mr. Goff, do we have a staff presentation on this item?
Yeah, Mr. Dahl can give you some more information on this.
Mr. Dahl.
Thank you. As noted, ordinance 1744 is what's at issue here on ADRs, and that was adopted in July of this year under the city's charter that's available for referendum, and a referendum petition was filed timely pursuant to the charter. That petition included, of course, signatures, which are required by the charter. The city clerk performed the required review of signatures and determined the referendum petition insufficient. That decision is available for a protest by any party, and in this particular case, there were 6 protests filed by the petitioners. The protests are all the same, they're in your packet, but those protests were filed in a timely manner. And so what that now means is the statute takes over, which has a process for processing protests, and that process involves a hearing that has to be conducted. It's really an administrative hearing. The statute assigns the role of the hearing officer to the city clerk unless the city clerk asks the governing body to appoint a different party, and the city clerk has asked that a different person, that an administrative hearing officer be appointed to conduct this. I can tell the council that the last 2 times we've had referendum petitions that have been subject to a protest and therefore required a hearing, the clerk has asked and the council has appointed administrative hearing officer, which is really a more effective way, I think, for doing it, because among other things, the city clerk might be a witness in that case, in as much as the city clerk conducted the initial review of the signatures. And so that has been done in the past. We've reached out to one of the city's administrative hearing officers that undertakes and processes hearings for the city for other matters on code matters and other things. Paul Basso, he's an attorney and he's qualified to do this work, and he's available, importantly, during the little window of time that the protest hearing has to take place per the statute. So we've confirmed that he's available and willing to do the work. City clerk recommends that you do appoint, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Before I go to questions from council, I'd like to invite the public to speak on this item. I have no one signed up to speak here, but if you are here in council chambers and would like to speak, now is an opportunity. If you are joining us online, you may raise your hand. We will bring you into the meeting, and I will ask our clerk if anyone has raised their hand.
No, Mr. Mayor.
And I see no one here in the hall wishing to speak, so we will go now to questions from council. Councilor Hutchinson.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one question, maybe a couple. I'm reading the financial impact part there, that costs will be associated, legal representation expenses. What does that mean?
That means that Mr. Basso's, the hearing officer's charges, of course, will be paid by the city. That's a city cost to provide the due process that every petitioner and protester has. There may be some costs from my office. In the past, on all of the various prior protests, my office has assisted in various ways in facilitating the hearing taking place. Those are really the only 2 real costs. The primary cost would be the administrative hearing officer, his charges to prepare for the case and be at the hearing, conduct the hearing, and enter any findings and decision that he would enter.
Okay. And so the role of the attorney is just for like administrative kind of
The role
things?
of our office?
Yes.
Yes, typically. In the past, I've assisted the hearing officers that weren't, at least the last time around, the hearing officer was not an attorney. It's fair and appropriate, and we've done the research many times to confirm this, for my office to assist the hearing officer in doing research, being that hearing officer's law clerk effectively. And we have done that in the past. We've assisted in preparing city witnesses, so any city employees that would be asked to testify, we've assisted in preparing their testimony, or in helping them prepare for their testimony, and then being at the hearing in order to answer questions.
Okay. And it says here that Paul Basso's a judge.
Yes, we use him as both an administrative hearing officer and I think as a relief judge for our municipal court. When he wears his administrative hearing officer hat, that's a little less formal, but he's a relief judge for our regular municipal court as well, and that's why I think he's well suited to handle the dynamics of a more formal hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, Councilor Hutchinson, may I have a motion on this item?
I move to approve the appointment of Judge Paul Basso pursuant to CRS 110. 3, as the administrative hearing officer for the protest hearing for the certification of insufficiency for the referendum petition for ordinance 1744.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Counselor Stites. Is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council? Thank you. That concludes our business agenda items. Let me get back to the agenda, and I think we will now go to city managers' matters. Mr. Goff.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing big this evening. Just a reminder, we'll have a study session next Monday. We're going to give council and the public a budget update for 2022, and then also an update on department projects. As you all know, we've had a few light agendas here over the last few weeks, but we have a lot going on right now still. So we'll give you a good update on that. It'll just be a good primer for future budget discussions that we're going to have this fall, and then potential retreat that City Council will have maybe after the first of the year. But after Monday, we'll have 3 Mondays that will be off. As October 24th, we've canceled the meeting for the school district's public hearings on the school closures. So you can all go to that. And then October 31st, Halloween, it's a Monday, but it's a 5th Monday, so no regularly scheduled meeting. And then as you just approved this evening, we're canceling the meeting night before the election. So guys will miss each other for a while, I guess. But that's all I got. Thanks.
I'm sure we'll pay for it one way or another. City Attorney's matters, Mr. Gott.
Nothing tonight. Thank you very much.
Tonight. Okay, let's see. Elected officials matters, and I want to start with our city clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ballots will drop in the mail for the general election on November 8th, a week from today. The county clerk and recorder is asking people to remember, don't mail the ballot later than October 31st. So that's pretty simple. On Halloween, you got to mail it the next day. You've got to take it. There are drop boxes. You know where the 3 are here in Wheat Ridge. There are drop boxes across the county. Voter service centers, polling places will open late the week before Election Day, and in some cases even before that. So if anyone asks you, remember that people can register to vote on the spot up till 7 p.m. on Election Day and cast a ballot. If you are not registered to vote, that's pretty simple. You go online to the Secretary of State or to Jefferson County, and you can actually register to vote online. The motion that you just passed, I greatly appreciate your spending the money to have an independent hearing officer review the complaints, the protests that have been filed. It will create more transparency and impartiality in the process. And I thank you for allowing that to happen. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We have our city treasurer with us tonight. Mr. Miller, do you have anything you'd like to report on? Okay, thank you very much. We will then start with our counselors. We have 2 counselors joining us online, and I will start with Councilor Dozman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a couple things. I wanted to invite the public to 2 ribbon cuttings this Thursday, October 13th. So both of these businesses are opening up at the Gold's Marketplace. So they're right next door to each other. The ribbon cuttings will be at 1 o'clock for Queen City Collective Coffee, and then 1:45 at BP Run Co. And then also Trunk or Treat is being hosted by Local Works on Saturday, October 22nd at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And they are looking for trunks and candy. So Paige had kind of put it out there to the Chamber of Commerce this last week. If you have any candy, please drop it off, or they are looking for a lot more trunks if you're interested. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Dozman. We will go to Mayor Pro Tem Hulteen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have anything tonight.
Thank you very much. We'll start then here in the hall with Councilor Hutchinson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say I read in the transcript that I believe that Treasure Trunk, the secondhand store, is going to be closing. And it's been around in the Wheat Ridge area for a very long time. And that's just kind of a sad thing that needed to be done.
Thank you. Counselor Nossiter-Beck.
Thanks, Mayor. Just really quick, wanted to, I think we had November 8th on the brain, Steve, but I think ballots drop officially, they start getting mailed out a week from today, which is October 17th. So keep an eye on your mailboxes for that. And then still all the other dates that Steve said, October 31st. Don't put your ballot in the mail after October 31st. Drop it off or decide to vote on the day of. And then Councilor Dozeman mentioned trunk or treat. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all of the incredible all volunteer coaches that are making Wheat Ridge Parks and Rec soccer and their sports happen this season. My kids participate and have great coaches, and it's such an incredible program that's run. We have a lot of people who come from other cities to participate in our programs because they're just so awesome, and it's so focused on building teams and building community. So just a special shout out to everybody who donates all that time and energy for our incredible kids and our community. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Counselor Stites.
Not much tonight, Mr. Mayor. Just remind everybody that as you're going Halloween shopping and all that, see if you can find it locally and find it and buy it in Wheat Ridge. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Ohm.
Thank you, Mayor. I forgot to mention a few weeks ago when I was doing the trash pickup in the Critter Creek Canyon that I met a beekeeper who installs and maintains bees on top of roof structures, which I thought would be pretty interesting, and perhaps we might find a spot someday in the city where we can make that happen. And then this Saturday, I'm very excited to be a part of the Prospect Park ribbon cutting, so I will definitely be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Weaver.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a rare opportunity this last week, and I wanted to congratulate Karen and her team at Parks and Rec. I got to go to see a little bit of what a Park and Rec conference looked like, and it was really cool to see all the camaraderie between cities throughout Colorado. And what was the name of the conference, Karen?
It's the Colorado Parks and Recreation Association.
There you go. Okay. It was just really, really cool to just see how cohesive all these Parks and Rec programs are across the state, and Wheat Ridge was recognized many times. So kudos to you, and it was really a neat thing to see. So thanks for including, and the recognition on the projects that you all won awards for. So thanks.
Thank you. Counselor Hoppy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to remind everybody that Porchlight Family Justice Center, which is a center that helps victims of violence, is having their very first large gala on the 20th of October, and it will be a lot of fun. It will be program light, fun heavy, so food stations, live music, signature cocktails donated by Tito's, and you can purchase tickets at Porchlight, FJC, FamilyJusticeCenter.org. And I would like to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to sort of finish with a thank you to all of the residents that joined me for coffee with the mayor last Saturday. We had really a robust discussion. I tell you, everyone was excited about a lot of things that were going on, and it was really great to see such enthusiasm. I want to also in the grand openings we have on the 15th, Saturday the 15th at 10 o'clock, Prospect Park Phase 2 opening, and I'm really I saw a little presentation on that the other day, and it's really a lot of great work that we've been doing there. So I want to congratulate our Parks Department for doing all the great work that they do there. I think that kind of brings us to the close of our meeting. Please, as you travel and drive around our beautiful city, please do so as you're watching out and really paying attention to what you're doing, and drive safely and make sure that everyone comes home tonight and every night safe and sound. So we will conclude our meeting. Thank you for joining us. Good night.